yearly maintenance of a lined canal. The delta is a certain amount of money. Is that what we're talking about as far as justifying lining the canals? In other words, that's money that we're paying to maintain these canals.
Yeah, and we're Pete's having to go in there almost weekly to do something to this canal. It's really become a big issue for us.
That's why we're cement lining all of them, because of the efficiencies and all that you gain in the road.
Right. I'm just curious about that dollar number, on the efficiency number, for every mile. What is the?
And this deal just sands up, and if you got the proper structure in the canal, you don't have much of that. I mean, it's just, that cement lining is the deal.
Do we have a number for that, Al?
No, well, we could ask it. I've never been involved in this. I've been so busy with the litigation work that I haven't done it. This is Omar.
But I'd be curious to find out. It's part of the exercise we're doing right now.
What we're saving as far as
maintenance? I mean, that's a question that everybody asks me.
Just,
okay, well, why are you doing it?
Well, I'll just give you an example on the riverside, what we concrete lined. I don't think Pete's had to send men in there the whole year, right? To do any mowing or any type of maintenance or anything like that. So it's
saving us a lot of money, but we're not putting it in that pot. It's okay, all the money we're saving.
It almost.
What are we doing? We're going to channel it somewhere else.
Well, we've got so much to do that yeah, we're just trying to.
We're not giving ourselves the credit, in my opinion, for lining all these canals. Because we're saving a ton of money, but we're diversifying the money we're saving on other stuff.
Any country
more out of canal.
Any country lining that we do,
that's the case, but
it almost becomes a maintenance-free canal.
It's just like when you farm. If you got a cement ditch versus a dirt ditch, your headaches are over.
Exactly. So it makes this loan such an easy, free money. I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's just knowing that dollar number savings will justify this decision, I'm thinking. At least for me.
I will tell you, Texas, on the SWIFT loans, the interest rate is 0.51%.
Wow. It's free money.
Boy, you gotta be smart to just figure that. Machine.
So, okay, so.
Well, anyways, that's
Omar's working on more figures that we can present to y'all, what the interest would be on a SWIFT loan and so on in 20 years, or if we paid it off in 10, and we'll present that to you all.
Yeah, and I'd like for engineering to tell us what we could do it for just us.
Without
the other deal, it includes 50%
match
with our labor, and all we're going to be doing the work anyway. So I mean, that part's going to be the same.
Yeah.
The only deal is what the materials and all that would be different. So.
And then we can apply. So far we've been hitting a home run with our applications, but
yeah,
if we don't,
if you don't get it.
Then
if USBR putting it out to 25, that's 4 years from now before you can even start. Right?
Yeah.
Well, I thought they showed us started at 23, and we're showing us started at 22 if we go the loan. You're only 1 year earlier.
Well, but we wouldn't complete till 2026 if we went grants. And if we went SWIFT, we could finish in 1 year's time, or 2 years' time.
Yeah. Well, let's look at the third option, and we'll go from there.
Then I wanted to recognize Larry. He's here from the Bureau of Reclamation. He's has a little bit of COVID growth there on his chin.
Good morning, guys. Thanks, Board.
That's all I have until we get to the close.
All right. District engineer, you're on.
Okay.
I think it's all you just pick yourself off.
Thank you, Rose.
So we're finishing up the year, and Robert will talk to you about that. We're still on course, I believe. Our target right now is to have about 100,000 acre feet left in our allocation at the end of the year. This is a graph that's up, I guess you guys can see it, is the graph of the inflow to Elephant Butte the last 4 months. And there was a little bit of a storm event in July and August that put a little bit of water in, but the flow in the Rio Grande coming into Elephant Butte has been pretty much zero. It's that line at the bottom with those red marks. The triangles are what the normal flow should be. So there's nothing going in. This is the graph of the curve of the water stored over the same time period in Elephant Butte Reservoir. We have some storage in Caballo, but this tells the picture right here. So we're already below 100,000 acre feet. And Chitty, I know you and I were talking, and I guess there's been some press on are there problems up at the marina with this water level and storage now?
Right. Yeah, it's mostly problems with I guess the boat people and starting to complain, and the owner there having to relocate his dock and so on.
Yeah, so we should hopefully we'll be switching over here pretty quick to pulling water out of Caballo. Are they still going to try to keep the water level, that water up high in Caballo for those archaeological sites? Yes, they are, right?
The last I heard was it 26 there?
Yes.
You want to keep 26,000 in?
26 to 28.
We have 100,000 left in our allotment, and there's less than 100,000 there, so we'd have to drain the whole deal in Caballo to get our 100,000 we're saved.
Right, there's barely, it doesn't quite balance out right now. So, but we're not going to do that. We're going to have 100,000 left over, but we'll talk about that, those issues too. But right now, I'm just telling you that, it doesn't get much worse than this.
Not much. There's just one little bit left right there at the bottom.
Yeah.
Right, so we've got, right now we're looking for September. I don't know what Robert's got budgeted to. Since EPCWID's off and Mexico's going off, or it doesn't matter whether Mexico's off or not, we'll be incurring 100% of the losses in the system. So to get to where you guys wanted to go, that additional week is going to cost us, but we've got it in the account, so it'll be 48,000. So we'll be bringing the system down to to record lows, just to get to the end of the year. But it does look feasible to do it as long as, I don't know, you could ask Larry since he's there. Has he heard anything from Albuquerque about any issues with not making it to the end of the year? I haven't.
Well, all I did was in on a conference call. I think they're trying to get it down to about 38,000 acre feet in the storage at Caballo, and Elephant Butte went down this morning to 650 CFS releasing from the Butte. So they did cut back from 850 to 650 this morning. So they are trying to bring that down based on the demands that EP1's requesting for. So yeah, that's their target date, and they're running some models as we go every day.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a day-by-day deal here. So getting to, I'm not trying, I know last month we talked about and made the arrangement to make the 25th the last day, but there may be physical limitations that require us to shut down prior to the 25th is what I'm trying to tell you. Well, I don't think so, but I think we can do it, but it's going to push us to right to the end.
Full of water from near to zero.
I can't hear it, sorry.
He's making reservations. We're grumbling.
Corpus Christi. Grumbling.
I'm saying from a full allotment to zero. I'm just looking at what
Right.
38,000 acre foot would look on that map. At least we wouldn't be below that line, would be below it.
How much of that 39 release from that upper reservoir made it into the Elephant Butte?
I'm not sure what you just asked, it's hard to understand. There's about, for what Larry said, that they're trying to pull Caballo down about 10,000. They've got a archaeological site that they like to keep covered with water. We've sent letters of concern over that and had numerous meetings about that. So we feel that Caballo should be able to be, if needed, can be dropped down to close to 5,000 acre feet. Physically, that's the limitation. We've done that before. But the reclamation prefers to keep it at that 26 to 28,000. So that water's tied up there. The difficulties at the dam we haven't discussed yet, but anytime you get close to 50,000 acre feet at the dam, there's some problems. That's unknown territory for us, so I'm just telling you that right now everything looks like it's doable to get us to the 25th, but it's not gonna be an easy. The last week is not, or last 2 weeks is we're gonna have to watch it every day, probably the last week.
Art's question was, how much of that 38,000 that was released from Coach he's gonna get, or El Gato, excuse me, is it gonna get?
Oh, he's not, I don't know, you guys look at the graph. I don't know if you can get less than 0, can you?
None of it, exactly.
I was gonna say,
Exactly what I thought.
that graph, it doesn't even have a bump in it at all.
It's got one bump in it here around July 28th or something. That
Rain
was
up there.
rainfall event.
The rainfall hit below the Lower Rio Grande Conservancy District.
And it came out of Albuquerque a little bit too. There was some flooding. I can go back. I didn't write up a memo on that event. I didn't think it was worth. It looked like it was worth talking about myself, but it was. It looks like it was a couple of thousand acre feet, maybe at most. And I don't know if that all got into the reservoirs.
Well, I guess we'll wait till we finish and then you can tell us what we're looking for forward into next year. We're gonna have 90,000 when it's over?
No, we'll have to be able to meet our the obligations next year. We'll have to accumulate water this year, or whatever. Well, right now we're not accumulating any. We're losing it. It's the net balance. We're losing more than we're accumulating. But there will be, hopefully over the winter, when the evaporation goes down and the probability of some inflow increases,
Well, I
will
understand.
be sufficient to get us.
I understand that. What are you thinking we're gonna end up the season with in the two reservoirs?
There'll be about, whatever water's there that's usable will be ours. And it'll be about 100,000. But I can't get that out of the reservoir, of course. It's because it becomes operationally difficult when we get down to those low numbers. So we'll have to accumulate inflow to get the system back operational. But that'll happen by March. So in March, I'll be able to tell you where we're at. But we're going to be close, if not at record lows, very close to it starting off. What can we do but hope for something out of this hurricane. Hurricane. I told Chewy we need a big hurricane to go through the middle of Mexico and come up to the Rio Grande.
You're brutal.
That's a double whammy for Johnny.
No, just leave the Yucatan Peninsula out of it. You can go through the center and stay out of that.
That's actually the most productive. That's the point where we know we're getting something where it is fly up, right?
We've had
We got a chance it'll make it.
We've had several tropical storms go by there this year, but none of them developed into a hurricane until they get into the Gulf of Mexico.
Man, if you look at even the ones that are coming in low, they make an abrupt turn and go north.
Yeah.
They don't come in. And then we didn't get a drop of rain in Austin out of that previous hurricane that went through Beaumont, and it was a big storm. Category 5 at one point, but now, nobody can predict the weather before all this, and right now, like what happened last night is a classic sort of chaotic thing that I guess in Denver, the changed by 60 degrees in 24 hours, is that right?
Right.
Everything's
I
extreme.
think they were saying, they're saying over a 6-hour period, it changed or something.
Everything in weather is extreme, every event.
All right, well, that's the good news for me, so don't you add any more to this good news.
Don't come back till you get better news.
Altriers,
Tears, that's with an A.
Altitude. Okay.
T-E-A-R.
Thanks, Al.
Yeah.
All right, Pete.
just, we were talking about fuel. Pete just got off the phone with the comptroller in Austin, and things are looking good from that side, hopefully.
Yeah, it's looking promising. Right now, I've got clarification that pretty much all our construction equipment can run on red dye diesel. So that means backhoes and regardless of whether they're on the road or not. They
That's a
can run.
lot of diesel.
Yes. And right now, I'm working on, to see if maybe 100% of our fleet can run on diesel, or on red dye diesel. TxDOT, their fleet is 100% red dye. County roads and bridges, 100% is green diesel, regular diesel, so. So I'm gonna see if I can find a loophole there in the middle somewhere. I know there's some permits that we can obtain, so I'm hoping to get some permits so we can put in the vehicles, because every state trooper seems to interpret it a little bit different. So that way we can cover our
Have they been
behinds.
stopping you guys?
No, they haven't. Well, they've been stopping us for, there's one agent that keeps stopping us, our dump trucks and weighing them. But every time they do this, I mean, it's not 2 hours of downtime. From the
But
time
do they check the diesel too?
They haven't yet. They haven't yet, so I'm just,
I didn't know TxDOT had, DPS had anything to do with it.
well, actually, DPS is the one that's giving me all the, everybody is referring me to DPS. That, they're the ones that can tell me if we can run a
I
100%.
didn't know they had the enforcement authority on that.
Yeah.
They used to, they used to stop me in when my beat trucks, and they'd go there and check the diesel
Yeah, my understanding is now they got a device that they stick in the exhaust.
and exhaust.
That's what I just heard this morning. So either way, I'm not gonna put red dye until I got 100% sure that we can run it.
Yeah, because most of ours don't, I mean, construction equipment doesn't run on the pavement much.
Even the mowers,
Yeah, mowers will be able to go on red dye. Anything construction will be able to go on red dye.
Okay, so good.
Okay, and
What is the tax? It's a bunch,
it
isn't it?
is
I think it's quite a bit, you know.
60, 70 cents, I think.
80 cents? 80 cents?
60, 70, 80 somewhere.
It's
Per gallon.
responsibility of the
That's a
vendor,
hell of a lot.
fat tax.
That's what the gas is worth.
Yeah, and then I believe there's a rebate. That's something that I read along
Did
the
you
lines
get
of, there's a
that?
rebate on the red dye diesel that you submit at the end of every year.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how that would work, but, okay, then, we're still, lacking some, mowers to come in from our last year's budget. We spoke to Joey this morning, and those mowers should be in by this Friday or early part of next week. So all we'll be lacking is the trucks that were ordered out of Houston, from Canmore Country. Okay. I'll start off here with, this is the boil and spur drain up in the upper valley between Artcraft and well, Waterman. And, I see, oh, wait, they gave us a lot of dirt up there, so I'm just hauling it straight to the drain. This drain is pretty much, has been covered up from Waterman upstream. Now we're covering it up to Artcraft. This drain is always dry, it's never used. All it's used for is for people to go dump their trash in there. And it's a constant dump. There you can see the drain's been covered up. Now we're installing gates to make sure that, again, nobody goes in there and dumps their trash. There's that auger that was a $500 report. that's completed already. That's, like I said, that's right at Borderland. That's what it looked like before we went in there and cleaned it up.
We have a developer that's interested in making an offer, so we might have an offer to you all on that section next board meeting.
Remember where Molinar used to live?
Yes. Yeah, right on
Yes.
the right-hand side there. Now, keep in mind that this drain here is within the city of El Paso. So the cost of the gate and everything that we did on that, to block it off, will be included in the cost to the city of El Paso. So we will get reimbursed for all of
And it's not needed for any kind of drain, huh, for
It's not.
flood drain?
that. No, it actually, the other part has been covered up. So in reality, this is where the drain started now. There's only one small tract that waters upstream from there that uses it as a wasteway, and that's why we kind of leave an indentation there to make sure any rainwater or any kind of water will go into that area there.
Soak into the ground,
Yes, sir.
and like a dam
Yes, sir.
pond.
Another drain up in up the valley. And some of the mowing up there by on the Montoya D, above Country Club. And then this here is, it's actually a private ditch slash our ditch. This ditch, we use it on the Barrian, it's used for a wasteway. So in turn, we'll go out there and clean it once in a while. I know Ramon goes in there and cleans it also, so it started getting in pretty bad shape. Unfortunately, the concrete is very brittle, so there's very minimal work that we can do with equipment, so it all had to be done by shovel. And then some of the problems, I don't think I've ever shown you guys some of the problems that the shop runs into, but this just happened last, between now and our last board meeting. But this gentleman was going up to the Guadalupe, when you make that curve right there in Fabian's, he lost the tire. And that's what happened, he actually just snapped in half, so. And that's just from the weight of the boom mower. And you can see it there where it had already broken, it was only molded by after that axle there. And then some of the work that's being done at the welding shop, we had some interns come in here last week. So we had them doing wedges, which is for all our jacklifts. This is the part that wears out the most. And then we're building some boxes for these are for our new meters that we're waiting for our wells. These are coming in, we need to build 50 of these. So that's what they're gonna look like. Another view. And then some of our telemetry boxes that we built for Robert, this is where he puts all his, Robert and Nell, actually, that's where they put all their controllers and everything to make it vandal proof. So these are telemetry boxes. And then as you all know, we did buy a honing machine, so we're doing all our work on our buckets. This is where we refitting for pins on one of our excavator buckets. And then cutting blade and just rebuilding this bucket completely. And then some of our construction outside, this is on the Y251. Till then, pipe started leaking over the drain. When we went in there to remove it, the whole head wall broke in half. Fortunately, I had to use one there at the yard that we could install. That was in very good shape. That's the piece that went in, with the pipe. And collars to secure the head wall to the other pipe. And then we went in there and rebuilt that's the downstream side, and we went in there and rebuilt the turnout itself. We leave it open until they water, just to make sure that we don't got any of the vents that leak. That way if they leak, we can always go in there and tighten them a little bit more. That's what it looks like looking towards the Sentinels. And then I think I showed you this one here last month on our last board meeting on Tules and De La Rosa. This is in cooperation with Cenetti and the County of El Paso. So we went in there, cleaned the drain first. This is where we are installing a temporary crossing for the neighborhood, because that's the only entrance and exit they got. County of El Paso provided this pipe. And this is for the temporary crossing. Then the city of San Nedi brought us some base material and then some top seal, just to harden the surface of it in case it rained or anything like that. And then they rolled it, and then this is when we're going back to remove the structure or the culvert itself on those tules. That's the pipe that came out of there. And you can see how much the water dropped just by that picture there. Here the guys are digging for I know we had a gas line, we had a water line, and we had some fiber optic. So there we exposed the water line, and there's a big concrete slab over the top, you can see it right there. That's right over the top of the gas line. And then the fiber optic line. There's Texas Gas securing their line before we remove the dirt from underneath it. And then getting ready to set the pipe in. There's the obstacle that we had to deal with when installing this culvert. We had to tie 3 pipes, and then we had to go back and tie the 4th pipe after it was installed because of all the stuff that was there and we had to deal with. Here they're installing that 4th pipe. Backfill, dressing it, and that's the way we do it for the county, so we can go out there and repave. And then the temporary structure removed. And this is just some of the projects that we had here this past month. Of course, we've got your everyday turnouts and raising of banks. I just don't want to bore you guys every time that showing you the same thing over and over. Any questions for me?
Is that one on Upper Valley? You guys put that pipe up over there, is that the city paid for that one, or? Yeah, right there, Heritage Farms.
Yes.
Yes, it was actually a partnership between Heritage and the city.
Oh, trying to figure that out.
And we're still not done, we still gotta go out there and concrete line the mouth of it and yap it. And then we still gotta do Gomez Road, those gotta be completed before January of next year, so we're starting to work on those already. And then replacing, of course, the one that's downstream, the portable.
Yeah.
The other community ditch, but that one won't be done until after that season.
That's looking good. All that looks really good.
Okay, well, thank you, Pete.
Thank you, sir.
Good work as always. Roberto? And floor.
Robert just went through some minor back surgery, and probably gonna have a second dose, from what I understand, right?
What'd you have?
My L2 and 3 were messed up, and now they're gonna go after the 5 and 6.
Some arthroscopic surgery.
Yeah, pretty cool.
You're doing pretty good to back surgery.
Yeah. Been, what, 10 days, and
Oh my gosh.
you actually almost walk out of there.
Pretty amazing.
Take care of the water order right away.
He's a youngster. Yeah, he's a youngster, he wished.
No, but we're down to almost the last 2 weeks of running water, and we're on the last return, last small track thing. God, they're almost over. And should we want to give one more? No, should we, no more? No, but the acres is still holding up pretty strong, and this week we still had 7,000 acres for just Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and we're running a little bit low, and the ditchers were kind of issue about it, but we had to put a little sacrifice to them because ya mañana Mexico cuts off, and I didn't want to bring extra water in here and then cut it out with Mexico coming off tomorrow, and they're cutting off 177 feet, so it's going to be a big gusher. So tomorrow, soon as they cut off, they're gonna cut off around 12. It's part of our order, so we just gotta wait, you know, the farmers are getting kinda, I said, just be patient tomorrow, we're gonna have plenty. So as soon as
It
they
rained
cut-
last night, we're all out.
Yeah, it hurt a little bit, but, some of the guys, all they're doing is delaying their irrigation, it's like 7 days. Especially in the unit 7, they're all planting water the 14th, now they're moving it to the 21st. And they're calling and said, well, we still have time. Yes, yes, you will. You just gotta make sure you get in there and get yourself out of there by no later than Friday and Saturday, you know. So it's gonna work out tomorrow when Mexico cuts off. As soon as they cut off, it's 177 feet they cut off, we'll bring it right into the Franklin, set up the small tracks and we'll fill up everybody. And it should go pretty good, pretty smooth. And the acres are still holding up because even we had 7,000 this weekend, and for this weekend, we still got another 4,000. And already from Monday on, there's still another 6,000 acres, so the acres are still holding on pretty strong. And I think after Yada next week.
Pecans?
Yes, and there's still, believe it or not, Johnny, there's still cotton.
Whole lot of that.
There's still cotton, some of these,
I don't think it's necessary, but
some of these
I'm
cotton
not there.
people, they didn't quite order it because they thought it was gonna be enough, but this heat kinda caught them in between, and they still wanted to irrigate about the 10th, so,
It's because it was so hot, but it
Yeah.
ain't hot now.
so they, you know, they said, well, we want more time. I said, okay, guys, the water's there, so it's there, so we'll get through it. And, we're still using a little bit of water, but I think after this weekend, we should start being able to coming down. We're still watering pretty heavy in the upper valley. Right now, we just got the Lanyon East going, but I know that Lanyon West will come on Monday. That's the one that EPCWID takes care of us, because they'll be coming in Monday here. They bunch up the acres also. Anybody comes in, they put them for Monday, and they'll water the farm Monday through Thursday, and then they got the small tracks the weekend, and then that pretty well will play out. And people still ordering one on the east side, the Anthony Pecan and some of the guys, so we're gonna get them this weekend. So we're still
They're
going
in our
along.
District, Anthony Pecan in?
Sir?
Anthony Pecan's in our district? I didn't
Yes.
realize
I bunch them up, Johnny, because it's him and Shannon Singh. And we always bunch them up together to put the water in the
that.
canal.
I never realized that was our water.
Well, it's a two-way, it's part Texas and part New Mexico.
So
And
they're in New Mexico, right?
half of it's like a 50-50, like 90's New Mexico and 80's Texas.
That's the old dip farm, right?
Dips across the street,
Old dip scrub.
dips across the street. And the way the boundary runs in there, it's just crazy, but, and this is part of Texas and part of New Mexico.
Yeah.
But we're moving right along, you know, the acres compared to this year to last year, you know, remember last year we worked so late, started so late, and just compared them again, just last year to this year. Last year at this time, we only watered 137,000 acres, compared to this year, we're at almost 250,000 acres, so we watered a lot more acres this year than.
Yeah, there's a lot more crops planted because we had to water. Wait till next year.
I can handle that one.
Yeah.
So we're moving right along, and then the last one, the bad news when Al was saying this a minute ago about having so much left over. August wasn't too bad as far as using water, but I think we're gonna come in like 49,000. We haven't got strong numbers, but this is basically going. And then September, like Al said, we're getting charged at the dam, so I'm using the numbers strictly from the dam. But I was hoping they use about 34,000, but I think we're gonna use about 40 for the month of September. So when it's all over and done with, I think we'll come out with about 75,000 carryover. And he's gonna be 100 Al. I was hoping for 100, but
I think you told us last month, 72.
yeah, so it's still staying within those numbers. Very roughly my numbers for September, but it's give 2,000 either way. So at least we're gonna still carry over and
Carrying over dust.
sun,
Maybe
baby.
water up there. Carry it over.
And that's pretty well from me, other than, sure you still wanna talk about,
Oh, yeah, the farmers meeting, Johnny, we could only have, at Texas A&M, we could only have 30
people.
attendees.
And you gotta, everybody's gotta sign out a questionnaire that they're coming in there
At their own risk.
at their own risk, they gotta, and
I
that's,
forgot about that.
that's 30 with us, so if we do go, it's gotta be,
Just two farmers.
or none of the staff, it's gotta be just like, if you wanna do it, Johnny, you and Chewy and none of the staff, they can at least have 30 people in there. It's included with the people, and then they got a big questionnaire that every farmer's gotta fill out, that they haven't been exposed to corona and all this.
All those things do so much good.
Canutillo is completely out, they're not letting us in at all.
Yeah, the schools.
The school is not letting you out.
Well, like I said, we don't need to have a farmers meeting. Don't misunderstand me on it. We need to have one, but I don't.
Chewy was asking me, so I got on it this morning with Cassie and asked them to call, and they sent us a questionnaire, and that's it. They were just letting, I guess the auditorium can handle,
Yeah, maybe,
60.
maybe,
Another month.
yeah, maybe another month or two, well, it's probably gonna get worse.
Well, they're letting Catholic churches open up this Saturday, so I think
Yeah.
25%, so that's the first time that's happened. So maybe in a month.
but a lot of them, churches, I heard now they're starting to close them because the virus is starting to kick up again.
Well, not the.
Because of Labor
the
Day?
hospices, Yeah,
Think about people go to church, they like to hug together, and
yeah.
they don't know about the 6 feet. Corona is bad for Catholics. They like to hug.
Robert.
Oh, thank you.
It's like, it's sort of like when they turn, you know, I tell them, guys, stay away from each other. But that's it, guys, and by the time we meet again, we should be able to wrap this thing up, and hopefully, what I was saying earlier, I think hopefully we'll have enough to get us to September the 25th.
All right, Robert, keep up the good work.
And after Robert's, he got back Monday or Tuesday from his surgery, but he said he was ready to sign another 5-year contract and stay on another 5 years.
I never give you a contract. I never
Who
give
did your
you,
surgery?
huh?
Who did it, my doctor?
Ruran is his name, he's on Bassett by Bassett.
What hospital did you do it
Most doctors, even my heart doctor, Johnny, they have their own little lab
in?
now.
Yeah, little deals to do it.
They don't go to the hospital anymore, they cut costs, they have their little office in the back. My heart doctor the same way, the Lucas.
You got a heart, Robert?
Nah, you just, you know, you get old.
Real small one.
The ditch riders and the farmers don't pay for it.
You beat me to that one?
My wife's the same way, she don't think I got a heart either.
All right, well, thank you, Robert. It's a great year, we made it through.
I feel on that one.
Appreciate your good work.
Wow.
It's a 50-50.
Water use and availability, we already heard of that, there is none and there's none available, so. Okay, water delivery, subdivision, we have none of those, 13A, Jay?
13A, yes, so we've got, there's an application by Mario and his wife Savannah Duran. They're gonna build a house, and the drain is parallel to Socorro Road across from Mendoza's grocery here. It's the Thompson Spur drain. And they submitted an application for ingress and egress. The drain's covered up, so it's at grade. And they turned in all the documentation, survey, and engineering recommends this application for approval.
Okay.
I move that we approve that application.
Second.
All Art moves we approve application 2209. Do I hear a second?
Second.
George seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Application 2236.
By Terra, Ultra Broadband. They are providing internet via fiber optic cable to various schools around the city. And this is a subsurface that's gonna go underneath the sidewalk here in Alameda by Carnes. We've got the Lowenstein lateral that comes off of the Franklin. And the Lowenstein isn't a concrete box culvert, so they will be going 4 feet below that. And they've submitted all documentation necessary as well. And engineering recommends this application for approval as well.
How about the other one?
The same. The other one is actually aerial, so it's spanning the entire Franklin Canal completely. So it's the same situation. But yeah.
School?
Was the schools.
So we can put them both together. Do I hear a motion to approve application 2236 and 2237? Applications.
Move to approve.
Okay, Mike makes the motion. Here a second.
Second.
George seconds. All in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Let the record show that Larry was not present in the vote, so he was out of the. All right. Declaration of surplus land.
14A, so we have, let's put this on the screen. The Dolan drain. Share the screen here now. There we go. So the Dolan drain, good portion has been covered up. So we placed it on the agenda to designate it as surplus. It's right on the Franklin feeder in Passmore. So here's Passmore and Alameda. Got the Franklin feeder canal where it dumps into the Franklin Canal. This is the Dolan drain. The Dolan drain begins right here. Actually, it's right here. It's being farmed, as you can see. It begins right here, runs parallel to the Franklin feeder, and starts surfacing here. This hasn't been covered up. And then it runs parallel to the Franklin Canal. This is the RCA plant, steer bar. And so it runs, the drain runs here, and then goes underground, changes to the north and east side of the Franklin. Runs down.
Is there any part of it that still functions?
No, this has no water, but portion of it, like I said, all this is covered up for the most part. All this has been dry, this is filled in as well. From here, so the declaration is from Scove Road upstream.
It's at 10 acres?
It's 15 acres.
15 acres?
15 acres.
That looks like very valuable commercial land to me.
It sits in the area, yes, clean. So it runs south of, or downstream from Scove Road. Here's Scove Road and Alameda and the Cheetos deal. So obviously this is there's a ag still farm, so this is still functioning.
So from there up, is where
From Scove Road up, correct,
Okay.
or from upstream from the Clint. This is the Clint lateral heading right here off of Franklin. So the designation would be from this point to here up to here.
who's farming this little ground over here on down?
This one?
No.
Oh, down here? I think this is Ramon
Right there,
Peters,
right there.
Scove Road, this is on Ramon Peters, I believe.
No, over to the left.
To the left?
They have no need of the drain. Yeah.
Oh, no, this is still functioning. This is not this surplus. This will still function as a drain.
North of there, yeah, north and
This-
west. North and west,
This one?
higher.
Higher.
Now go left. That
Oh,
ground right
these
there.
guys.
Don't think so?
I don't think so, it's on the other side of the canal.
Okay. I'm just concerned that if there's farming going on and the drain's functioning, but if you say that's been dry, I'll go for that too.
There's a drain right here, this,
A small drain.
yes. It's
Okay.
actually a canal. Yeah, this is the upper canal. The drain's on the opposite side of the, Frank.
All that land and use our drain ditches in our canals as the entrance. Entry. What a mess. Wow.
Okay. Well, as long as you're sure that ag land right there doesn't need it, then, that's okay.
This is, yeah, this will be part of the subdivision, this is all being developed.
Oh, it is?
Up Shorts, yes.
Okay.
All of this, so it's working its way down here.
Yeah, if that feels part of the subdivision, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All this.
Okay.
So there, we currently, well, they're about to start a large, Flor Bonita right here, a sewer and a lift station project. They're currently drilling wells all along here, there's about 30 wells. They're gonna put a lift station.
So you're asking us to declare it surplus?